The warning lights on the ship turned red. Captain looked at the screen in front of him. 3 massive ships were coming closer. They were not friendly ships. He knew this because his computer was screaming danger signals at him. "Well, that's not good," said quietly. He sat in his captain's chair, one hand resting on the armrest. On the other armrest sat a small brown teddy bear. The bear was old and worn. It had patches sewn on it where the fabric had torn over the years, called it patches. Ran onto the bridge. She was the ship's engineer. Her hands were covered in grease from working on the engines. A small bear keychain hung from her belt, swinging as she moved. "Captain, those ships are Empire vessels," she said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes showed worry. The big one's War class was already at his station. He was the navigator, but he used to be a soldier. His fingers moved across his controls, checking distances and angles. He was always checking angles. "They're powering weapons," said. "Surrounding us in a triangle pattern. Military tactics, they've done this before." Walked in calmly. She was the medic, nothing seemed to shake her. She carried her medical bag, it looked heavy. "Should I prepare the medical bay?" she asked. "Let's hope not," said. He pressed a button. "This is the merchant vessel's Pride. We are a registered trading ship. We mean no harm." The screen flickered. A face appeared. It was not a human face. The looked like a giant lizard that learned to walk on 2 legs. It had scales that shimmered green and black. Its eyes were yellow with thin pupils. Sharp teeth filled its mouth. The creature was massive. Even through the screen could tell it was at least 8 feet tall. "I am commander of the Empire," the alien said. Its voice was deep and rumbling. "Your ship will stop all engines. You will prepare to be boarded. Your cargo will be transferred to our vessels. You will not resist." Smiled, it was not a happy smile. "Commander, we are protected under the Galactic Trade Agreement. We have done nothing wrong. You have no authority to board us." Laughed, it sounded like rocks grinding together. "You are human. Humans are new to space. Weak, small, you have no claws, no armor, no strength. The Empire has conquered 47 species. You will be number 48. The screen went dark. A moment later the ship shook. Something had latched onto the hull. "They're docking," said, forcing their way in through the cargo bay. Stood up, he picked up patches and looked at the small bear for a moment. Then he carefully placed it back on the chair. "Everyone stay calm," he said. "Let them board, we follow protocol." His jaw tightened. Protocol, right. They could hear the sounds now, heavy footsteps, many of them. The cargo bay door opened with a hiss. The soldiers walked in. There were 12 of them. Each one wore black armor that covered their scales. They carried weapons that crackled with blue energy. Commander walked in last. He was bigger than the others. His armor had red markings. He looked around the small ship and laughed again. "This is a human ship, so small, so weak." His yellow eyes found, "You are the captain." "I am," said. He stood straight, even though the top of his head barely reached his chest. "Where is your crew?" "Right here," gestured to, "and we're a small operation." His eyes widened. Only 4 of you run this ship." He turned to his soldiers. "Look at this. 4 small creatures think they can travel the stars." The soldiers made sounds that might have been laughter. One of them poked at with its weapon. She didn't move. She just stared at it. Walked around the bridge. His clawed feet made clicking sounds on the floor. He looked at the controls, the screens, the simple furniture. Then he saw Patches sitting on the captain's chair. He picked up the teddy bear with 2 clawed fingers. He held it up like it was garbage. "What is this?" he asked. "That's mine," said. His voice was quiet, too quiet. Glanced at the captain. She knew that tone. "It is a toy," said. "For children. You keep a child's toy on your command chair." He showed it to his soldiers. They made their grinding laugh sounds again. "The human captain needs a soft toy to feel safe." One of the soldiers spoke in the language, nodded. "My soldier asks if all humans are this weak. If you need toys to comfort you, squeezed Patches. What kind of species carries childhood items into space? Are you Bobbies? Stepped forward. Many humans keep items from childhood. They help us remember. Remember what? Asked. Different things, said. Family, home, reasons. Dropped Patches on the floor. Pathetic, the need no soft things. We are strong. We take what we want. He turned to his soldiers. Search the ship. Take everything valuable. Put the cargo on our ships. We leave in 1 hour. The soldiers spread out. Some stayed to guard the human crew. Others went to the cargo bay. Picked up Patches again. I will keep this, a trophy, proof that humans are weak. His hands slowly curled into fists. Saw it, saw it, saw it. They all knew what was coming. That bear has been with me for 15 years, said softly. Through 3 wars, 4 crashes, 7 years in deep space. And said, it is just fabric and filling, worthless. My daughter gave it to me, continued. His voice was still quiet, still controlled. Before she died, she was 8 years old, cancer. She wanted me to have something that would keep me safe when she couldn't. The bridge went silent. Even the soldiers stopped moving for a moment. Stared at, and this makes you strong. This makes you dangerous. You cry over soft things. You keep memories. This is weakness. Looked up at the massive alien. His eyes were dark and empty. You have no idea what you just did, he said. No idea at all. His hand slowly moved toward a panel on the wall, shifted his weight, his muscles tensing. His bag made a small metallic sound as she set it down carefully. Just laughed and walked away, still holding Patches. The countdown had begun. The soldiers moved through the ship like they owned it. They opened crates. They took tools. They laughed and spoke in their grinding language. The human crew stood together in the bridge, surrounded by 4 guards. Commander had gone back to the cargo bay. He was directing his soldiers, telling them what to take and what to leave. Patches, the teddy bear, hung from his belt like a trophy. One of the younger soldiers stayed on the bridge. He seemed curious about the humans. He kept looking at them with his yellow eyes, tilting his head like he was trying to understand. You are really that small? He asked in broken galactic common. All humans. Nodded, yes, we are smaller than most species. But you travel in space, you build ships, how? We use our brains, said. She leaned against the wall, looking relaxed, but her eyes were sharp, watching everything. We think, we plan, we create. The young soldier made a sound. Thinking. The commander says thinking too much makes you slow. Action is strength. Sometimes, said. He hadn't moved from his station. Sometimes thinking first means you only need to act once. The soldier looked confused. He turned to one of the older guards and spoke in. The older guard growled something back. Another soldier walked onto the bridge. He was carrying a box of tools. He saw the small bear keychain hanging from her belt. Another toy, he said. He reached for it. His hand shot out, fast. She grabbed his wrist before he could touch the keychain. The soldier was surprised. He was 3 times her size, but her grip was strong. Don't, she said simply. The soldier pulled his hand back. He looked at his wrist where her fingers had been. Then he looked at with new interest. You are quick, he said. I have to be, replied. I work with machinery. Slow fingers lose fingers. The soldier laughed, not the mocking laugh from before, a real laugh. I understand. I lost a claw once, got it caught in a loading door. He held up his hand. One claw was shorter than the others. Almost smiled. Machinery doesn't care how big you are. Truth, the soldier said. He pointed at her keychain. Your toy, it means something to you. It was my son's, said. Her voice was calm, but there was steel underneath. He was 6 when the colony ship crashed. I found this in the wreckage. It's all I have left of him. The bridge went quiet again. The soldiers looked at each other. The young one spoke. You have lost children too, like your captain. Many humans have, said. We live in dangerous places. We explore. We take risks. Sometimes we lose people we love. The older guard made a dismissive sound. Then why keep going? Why not stay safe on your home world? Answered, because staying safe isn't living. It's just existing. The way is strength, the older guard said. We take what we want, we conquer. We do not cry over lost ones. You don't, asked. When a soldier in your unit dies, you feel nothing. The guard hesitated. We honor them. We remember them as warriors. How? Pressed gently. We, the guard paused. We carry their weapons or a piece of their armor to remember their strength. Like a teddy bear, said quietly. A thing that reminds you, a comfort item. The guard's scales rippled. He looked angry. It is not the same. Weapons are tools of strength. And my son's bear is a tool of memory, said. It reminds me why I work so hard, why I keep the engines running no matter what, because I couldn't save him, but I can save others. The young soldier's eyes were wide. You humans are strange. You are weak, but you talk of strength. You cry, but you keep fighting. You carry toys, but you travel the most dangerous parts of space. Maybe you don't understand humans very well, said. He had been quiet, but now he spoke. Maybe your commander doesn't understand either. From the cargo bay, they heard his voice shouting orders. The sounds of crates being moved echoed through the ship. The young soldier looked at. The commander has conquered many worlds. He knows all species. He knows how to see weapons, said. Claws, teeth, armor, but he doesn't know how to see other kinds of strength. What other strength? The older guard demanded. The strength to keep going when everything is gone, said. The strength to love something even when you know you might lose it. The strength to care about a piece of old fabric because it represents something bigger. Touched her keychain. Humans have a saying, we keep our soft things close and our hearts closer. We protect what we love. Love is weakness, the older guard said, but he didn't sound as certain now. Is it? Asked. A soldier fights for the empire, for orders, for conquest, but what happens when the empire isn't there? When there are no orders, what does he fight for then? The guard had no answer. A human fights for the person next to them, continued. For the memory of someone lost, for a future they want to protect. We don't need orders to tell us what matters. The young soldier spoke to the older guard in. The older guard growled back. They seemed to be arguing. Commander's voice came over the ship's communication system. All soldiers, status report. Cargo transfer at 60%, 30 minutes remaining. The guards on the bridge responded, confirming everything was secure. Image appeared on the screen. Patches still hung from his belt. Humans, said, looking at the crew, your ship will be empty soon. You have been cooperative. For this, I will let you live. We will leave you your ship and enough supplies to reach the nearest station. You should be grateful. What about my bear? Asked. Looked down at Patches. This stays with me, a reminder that humans are soft. Last chance, said. His voice was still quiet, too quiet, give it back. Laughed. Or what? You will fight. You, a small human, against a commander, against 12 soldiers. He leaned closer to the screen. You are brave, stupid but brave. I almost respect it. But bravery without strength is just noise. Looked at his crew. Was ready, was ready, was ready. They had all been waiting for this moment. You know what humans say before they do something crazy? Asked. Tilted his head. What? We say hold my beer, paused, or in my case. He looked directly at through the screen. His eyes were hard as diamonds. Grab my bear. The translator on the side made confused sounds. The words didn't make sense in their language. Spoken perfect. She had learned it during her time in the merchant fleet. Commander, that phrase is a human idiom. It means the human is about to do something incredibly stupid and incredibly dangerous. It's a warning. Laughed, a warning, from prey to predator. Not prey, said. Never prey. You made a mistake, Commander. You took something that mattered. And said, what will you do about it? Stood up slowly. Let me explain something about humans. We don't keep soft things because we're weak. We keep them because we know what matters. That bear saw me through the Mars Rebellion. It was in my pocket during the Battle of Europa. It was on my ship when we made first contact with the Galactic Council. He took a step forward. The guards raised their weapons. My daughter gave me that bear on her 8th birthday. She said, "Daddy, when you're scared in space, hug Patches and pretend it's me." 3 months later, the cancer took her. I held her hand. I watched her stop breathing. And the last thing she said was, "Take care of Patches." The bridge was silent. Even the soldiers had stopped moving. So that bear isn't just fabric, continued. It's a promise, a memory. It's every reason I wake up in the morning. And you, Commander, took it to prove humans are weak. Smiled. It was not a nice smile. You're about to learn what comfort really means to a human. The moment stretched like a rubber band pulled too tight. Everyone waited to see who would snap first. Commander stared at through the screen. The massive tilted his head, studying the small human captain. Then he laughed again. You talk big for someone so small. What will you do? Cry at me. Throw your comfort items. Said calmly, now. His hand slammed down on the panel she had been standing near. The panel she had been slowly working loose during the entire conversation. The panel that connected to the ship's electrical systems. The lights went out. For exactly 3 seconds, the bridge was completely dark. In those 3 seconds, many things happened. Had spent the last hour doing routine maintenance on the ship's systems. But it wasn't routine at all. She had been routing power, creating loops, building up a charge. When she hit that panel, an electromagnetic pulse shot through the ship. The armor was advanced technology. It had shields, strength enhancers, and communication systems. All of it ran on sophisticated electronics. Electronics that couldn't handle an EMP blast from inside the ship. The armor went dark. The shields failed. The weapons stopped crackling with blue energy. The soldiers stood in their now useless armor, suddenly very vulnerable. When the emergency lights came on, everything had changed. Was no longer at his station. He was behind the older guard, one arm around his neck, pulling him off balance. The guard was bigger and stronger but knew exactly where to put pressure. The guard's own weight worked against him. Human military training, said quietly as the guard struggled. We learn to fight things bigger than us. It's kind of our specialty. His medical bag hit another guard in the face. The bag was heavy because it wasn't full of medicine. Well, not just medicine. It also had tools, metal tools, tools that could stitch wounds or, in the right hands, create new ones. She moved like water flowing around the confused. Her small size was an advantage now. She could duck under their swings, move through spaces they couldn't fit. I'm a medic, she said as she swept a guard's legs out from under him. I know exactly where every species keeps their important organs. I know where it hurts most. Pulled a wrench from her belt. It was her favorite wrench. She'd had it for 10 years. She knew exactly how much force it could take and exactly how much force it could deliver. Engineering isn't just about building things, she said, blocking a guard's punch with the wrench. The impact made a loud clang. It's about knowing how things break. The young soldier stood frozen. He looked at his weapon, now dead in his hands. He looked at his fellow soldiers being taken down by these small, soft humans. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Walked past him. Smart choice, kid, stay down. The young soldier slowly lowered his weapon and sat down. He was done. On the screen, Commander was shouting, "What is happening? All units respond. Activate weapons. Activate weapons." But the weapons wouldn't activate. The armor was just heavy metal now, slowing the soldiers down instead of making them stronger. Pressed a button on the console. "Cargo bay, this is the captain. You might want to check your equipment." In the cargo bay, the soldiers were experiencing the same problem. Their armor was dead. Their weapons were useless. and they were surrounded by cargo crates in a tight space. Had planned this. During the hour they'd had, he hadn't been sitting still. He'd been counting, mapping, planning. He knew exactly where every soldier was. He knew exactly how they would move. Humans are pursuit predators, explained as he efficiently disabled another guard. We don't have claws or teeth. We don't have strength or speed, but we have something better. We have patience. We plan. We wait for the right moment. Another guard rushed at him, used the guard's momentum against him, and sent him crashing into the wall. The guard's armor made a loud dent in the metal. We also have spite, added. We really don't like bullies. Was helping now. They worked together like they had practiced. They probably had practiced. Long trips in space gave you lots of time to prepare for situations like this. Medic training includes combat scenarios, said as she efficiently applied pressure to nerve clusters. The guard went down, conscious but unable to move. Because sometimes the most important thing you can do is stop someone from hurting others. Within 5 minutes, all 4 guards on the bridge were down. None were seriously hurt, but all were very confused and very immobilized. The young soldier who had surrendered watched everything with wide eyes. "How," he whispered, "you are so small, so weak." Knelt down next to him. "We're small, yes, weak. No, humans evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day. We learned to adapt. We learned to use tools. We learned to work together. And most importantly, we learned that size doesn't matter when you're smart enough." He stood up and walked to the communication console. "Commander, can you hear me?" His face appeared on screen. He looked angry, very angry. "You will die for this, all of you. My soldiers will." "Your soldiers are having a bad day," interrupted. "Let me tell you what's happening on your end. Your armor is dead. Your weapons don't work. And you're in a cargo bay with exactly 47 crates. Crates that can be stacked, moved, and used to trap you in very uncomfortable positions." As if on cue, sounds came from the cargo bay. Crashes, shouts, the sounds of crates being moved. "You see, Commander, you made a mistake. You thought soft meant weak. You thought crying meant broken. You thought keeping a teddy bear meant I couldn't fight." His eyes were cold. "But that bear represents my daughter. And if there's one thing you should know about humans, it's this. We fight harder for the things we love than for anything else. You can threaten our lives and we'll survive. You can take our cargo and we'll rebuild. But take something we love. Take a memory of our children." He leaned close to the screen. "That's when you see what humans really are." Roared, "I will kill you myself." "You're welcome to try," said. "But first, you need to get out of the cargo bay. And I just sealed all the doors. And I turned off the air circulation in that section. You've got about 20 minutes of air in your suits. Less if you keep yelling." His eyes widened. "You would kill us all." "Would I?" asked. "I'm just a human, a soft, weak human who cries over toys. What do you think I'm capable of?" The truth was, wouldn't kill them. He wasn't a murderer, but didn't know that. Was starting to realize he didn't know anything about humans at all. "Here's what's going to happen," continued. "You're going to return everything you took from my ship. You're going to leave peacefully. And you're going to give me back my bear. If you do this in the next 15 minutes, I'll let you and your soldiers go. If you don't." He let the sentence hang. Was breathing hard. His scales had changed color, darker now. Fear, anger, it was hard to tell. "And if we refuse, if we call for backup, the Empire will." "The Empire will learn that humans are not prey," said, stepping into view of the screen. "We're not your next conquest. We're the species that will fight to the last breath for a piece of old fabric. Imagine what we'll do for our actual families, our planets, our freedom. Join them. Tell your empire this. Humans keep soft things to remember what we're protecting. We keep toys to remember innocence. We keep memories to remember why we became dangerous in the first place." Was the last to appear on screen. "Touch what we love, Commander, and we'll show you what comfort items really mean. They're not weakness. They're fuel, fuel for a fire you don't want to face. Looked at the four humans. Small, weak, soft humans. Humans who had just disabled 12 soldiers in under 6 minutes. 15 minutes, repeated. Then I make decisions you won't like. The screen went dark, had cut the connection. The bridge was quiet except for the groaning of the disabled guards. The young soldier who had surrendered spoke softly. We were wrong about you, all of us, the whole empire. Looked at him. Yes, you were. Remember that, tell others. I will, the young soldier promised. I will tell everyone, never take a human's bear. 10 minutes passed like hours. The human crew waited on the bridge. They had tied up the guards with cargo straps. The soldiers sat against the wall, still shocked at what had happened. The young soldier who had surrendered sat quietly, watching everything. Was at the engineering console, monitoring the cargo bay. Air levels dropping on schedule. They've got maybe 8 minutes left. Any movement? Asked. Lots of movement. They're trying to break down the door, but it's reinforced steel, made to hold pressure in case of hull breaches. They won't get through it with their bare hands. Was watching the external sensors. The ships haven't moved. They're not powering weapons. I think hasn't told them what's happening. Pride said he doesn't want to admit 4 humans beat him. Sat in his captain's chair. The chair felt empty without patches on the armrest. He stared at the empty space where his bear should be. Captain, the young soldier said, may I speak? Go ahead. Why did you let me surrender? You could have knocked me down like the others. I was armed. I was a threat. Looked at him. You're young, you were following orders, and when you saw the truth, you made a choice. I respect that. The truth. That this wasn't a battle you needed to fight. That maybe your commander was wrong. The young soldier looked down at his claws. Commander is a hero in the Empire. He has conquered many worlds, defeated many enemies. He has medals, honor, respect. Maybe, said, but honor and respect don't mean you're always right. They just mean you've been right before. The communication console beeped, answered it. Commander appeared on screen again. He looked different now, less confident. His breathing was heavy. The armor's air supply was running low. You win, human said. The words seemed to hurt him. We will return your cargo and your bear. Smart choice, said. Open the cargo bay doors. Wait, said. First you must promise to let us go. No tricks, no revenge. Thought about it. He could make them suffer more. He could call the Galactic Council, report this piracy attempt. The Empire would face consequences, would lose his command, maybe his freedom. But that wasn't what would have wanted. His daughter had been kind even at the end. Even when the cancer was destroying her body, she had smiled at the nurses. She had thanked the doctors. She had held his hand and told him not to be angry. You have my word, said. Return what's ours, leave peacefully, and you can go. Nodded slowly. Computer, transfer control of docking bay doors to the human ship. His console lit up. She now had access to the ship's systems. She opened the cargo bay doors carefully. The soldiers stumbled out. They were gasping for air. Some fell to their knees, grateful to breathe freely again. Commander walked out last. He stood tall, trying to maintain dignity, but his scales were pale. In his hand, he held patches. The cargo is being returned as we speak, said. Everything we took, every item. On its monitor, they could see soldiers moving crates back to the human ship. They worked quickly, efficiently. They wanted to be done with this. And my bear asked. Looked at patches, really looked at it, the worn fabric, the patches sewn on with care, the small button eyes that had seen so much. This is not a trophy, said quietly. It never was. It is a memorial, a shrine to a lost child. Yes, said. In the Empire, we honor our fallen warriors with weapons and armor. We thought this made us strong. We thought your soft items made you weak. His voice was softer now. We were wrong. He walked to the docking tube that connected the ships. He stood at the entrance to the human vessel. "I have a question, Captain. When my soldiers saw your bear, your engineer's keychain, I laughed. I mocked you. But now I wonder, do all humans carry such things?" "Many do," said. "Some carry photos, some carry letters, some carry small objects that remind them of home. And these things make you fight harder. They remind us what we're fighting for," said. "When everything is dark and scary and we want to give up, we remember. We remember why we started, why we keep going." Was silent for a long moment. Then he said something that surprised everyone. "I had a mate before I became commander, before the wars and the conquests. She died in battle. She was brave, strong, a true warrior." He paused. "I kept one of her scales. I carry it in my armor, hidden. No one knows. I told myself it was for good luck, but really, it is because I miss her, because remembering her makes me want to be better." He looked at the bear in his hands. "Your daughter, what was her name?" Said quietly. Repeated. "She would be proud of you, I think. You fought for her memory. You risked everything for this small bear. That is not weakness, that is. I do not have the word in my language." "Love," said. "The word is love." Held out Patches, walked to the docking tube and took his bear. He held it gently, checking to make sure it wasn't damaged. Patches was fine. A little rumpled, but fine. "Thank you," said. "I should be the one thanking you," replied. "You could have killed us. You had every right. We attacked you. We stole from you. We mocked what you hold sacred. But you showed mercy." "Mercy is also a human thing," said. "We can be fierce when we need to be, but we prefer to be kind." Nodded. "I understand now. Humans are not weak. You are complicated. You have soft outsides but hard insides. You cry but you also fight. You love, but that love makes you dangerous." "Exactly," said. The last cargo crate was returned. Confirmed everything was back. "We are done here," said. "My soldiers will withdraw. We will leave your space." "Commander," the young soldier called out. He had been listening to everything. "Permission to speak." Looked at him. "Granted." "These humans beat us. They showed us our assumptions were wrong. Should we not report this? Should the Empire not know the truth about humans?" Considered this. Then he looked at, "What do you think, Captain? Should I tell my Empire about today?" Smiled. "I think you should. I think every should know that humans are not prey, that we will defend what we love, that taking our soft things is a very bad idea. It will change how the Empire sees your species." "Good," said. "Maybe it will prevent future misunderstandings." Scales rippled. It might have been laughter. "Misunderstandings, yes, that is a polite word for what happened here today." He turned to leave, then stopped. "Captain, one more thing, this phrase you used, grab my bear. It is a warning, yes." "Yes, like hold my beer. It means we're about to do something risky and probably crazy." "I will remember it, and I will make sure every warrior remembers it too." His eyes met. "If a human ever says those words, we will know, we will understand, and we will think very carefully about what comes next." "That's all I ask," said. The soldiers filed back to their ships. The young soldier stopped at the docking tube. "I learned much today," he said to the human crew. "I will never forget it. Thank you for not killing me." "Thank you for being smart enough to surrender," said kindly. The young soldier left. Commander was the last to go. He stood at the threshold between the ships and looked back at the humans one final time. "Humans," he said, "you are small, you are soft. You cry over fabric and memories, but you are not weak. You are perhaps the most dangerous species I have met, because you do not fight for conquest or glory. You fight for love, and there is no limit to what love can accomplish." Then he was gone. The docking tubes disconnected. The ships powered up their engines. Slowly they moved away from the human vessel. They didn't fire weapons. They didn't threaten. They just left. On the bridge of Spride, the crew watched them go. Sat in his captain's chair. He placed Patches back on the armrest where it belonged. The small brown bear with its patches and button eyes sat there like it always had. "Welcome home, Patches," whispered. 3 weeks had passed since the encounter with the Pride traveled through space on its regular trade route. Everything seemed normal: fixed engines, plotted courses, organized medical supplies, sat in his chair with Patches on the armrest. But things were different across the galaxy. In the Empire, Commander stood before the War Council. The room was massive, carved from black stone. 12 high commanders sat in judgment. They were the most powerful in the Empire, warriors who had conquered planets, leaders who had never known defeat. Stood at attention. His armor gleamed, his scales were steady, but inside he was nervous. "Commander," the Supreme Commander said, his voice echoed through the chamber. "You have submitted a report about the human species, a report that contradicts all our previous intelligence. Explain." Took a breath. "Honored Council, our information about humans was incomplete, dangerously incomplete. We believe them to be weak because they are small, because they show emotion, because they carry comfort items from childhood." And another commander asked, "Are they not weak?" "No, Honored One, they are not." Activated a holographic display. It showed the encounter with this Pride, every moment, every detail. The council watched in silence. They saw the humans disable the armor. They saw 4 small beings take down 12 trained warriors. They saw strategy, patience, and controlled violence that was terrifying in its efficiency. When the display ended, the chamber was silent. "You were defeated," the Supreme Commander said flatly, "by 4 merchants." "Yes, Honored One, and I believe this is critical information for the Empire." "How so?" Stood, "These were not soldiers, not warriors, just merchants protecting their ship. If this is what human civilians can do, imagine their military. Imagine their special forces. Imagine what they could do if we truly threatened them." One of the younger commanders laughed. "You are suggesting we fear humans because of one lucky encounter." "Not luck," said firmly, "skill, planning, and something else, something we do not fully understand." "Explain." Thought about how to say it. "Honored Council, we fight for the Empire, for glory, for conquest. We are strong because we are trained to be strong. But humans, they fight for personal reasons, for memories, for love, and that makes them unpredictable, unstoppable." He pointed to the frozen image of Captain holding his bear. "This human captain disabled our ships because we took a toy, a piece of fabric. Imagine what he would do if we threatened his planet, his species, his family." The Supreme Commander leaned forward. "You are suggesting we reclassify humans." "Yes, Honored One. Current classification, minor species, low threat. Recommended classification, avoid provocation, high risk." The chamber erupted in argument. Some commanders agreed, others thought was overreacting. The debate went on for hours. Finally, the Supreme Commander raised his hand for silence. "We will investigate further. We will send observers to study humans. But until then, all forces are ordered to avoid unnecessary conflict with human vessels, especially if the humans say the phrase, 'grab my bear.'" "The phrase is important," a commander asked. "According to the humans, it is a warning. It means they are about to do something dangerous and possibly crazy. When a human says this, they are no longer thinking rationally. They are thinking emotionally, and emotional humans are very dangerous." The council voted. The decision was unanimous. Humans were reclassified. The report was distributed to every ship, every station, every outpost. The word spread fast. In a bar on the trade station Zephyr 9, different alien species gathered to drink and share stories. A soldier sat at a table, telling his tale to a mixed group. "I was there," he said, the young soldier from this Pride. His name was Vex. "I saw it happen, 4 humans, 12 of us. They won in minutes." A merchant from the species clicked its mandibles. Impossible. Humans are soft, weak. That's what we thought, Vex said. Until the engineer hit that EMP switch. Until their navigator moved like lightning. Until their medic showed us she knew exactly where every weak point in anatomy is located. He took a drink. But the scariest part, their captain, he didn't yell, didn't get angry, he just decided. He decided we had crossed a line, and then he did what needed to be done. A pilot leaned in. What line? What made him fight? A teddy bear, Vex said. The table went silent. A what? The merchant asked. A small stuffed toy, like human children play with. His daughter gave it to him before she died. My commander took it as a trophy. The human captain asked for it back. We refused. Vex shook his head. We should have given it back. Over a toy. The pilot couldn't believe it. Not a toy, a memory, a connection to someone he loved. And humans will fight harder for love than for anything else. Harder than for money. Harder than for territory. Harder than for their own lives. Vex looked around the table. I'm telling you this because you need to know, all of you. If you meet a human, treat them with respect. Don't mock their comfort items. Don't take what matters to them, because they seem soft and kind, but underneath, they're predators who chose to be gentle. Make them choose to be dangerous, and you'll regret it. The story spread, from that bar to other bars, from traders to pirates, from merchants to military officers. Throughout the galaxy, species began to understand something new about humans. On the bridge of this pride, received a message. It was from the Galactic Trade Council. Captain, we have received reports of your encounter with forces. Multiple species are requesting information about human defensive capabilities. They want to know if the reports are accurate. Please respond. Smiled and recorded his response. To the Galactic Council, yes, the reports are accurate. Humans defended their vessel from piracy. We used minimal force. No one was killed. We simply protected what was ours. As for our capabilities, I'll say this, we are merchants. We prefer peace. We like trading, talking, and making friends. But we also carry pieces of home with us. Pictures, letters, small items that remind us why we travel the stars. Take those items, threaten what we love, and you'll discover something important. He paused, thinking about how to explain it. You'll discover that being soft doesn't mean being weak. That crying doesn't mean being broken. That keeping memories doesn't mean being sentimental. It means we know what matters. We know what's worth fighting for. And there's nothing in the universe more dangerous than someone fighting for what they love. He ended the recording and sent it. Walked onto the bridge with coffee. She still wore her son's bear keychain on her belt. Captain, we're getting hailed. A lot. Ships want to talk to us. What about? They want to hear the story. They want to know about humans. Some are offering protection. Some are offering trade deals. One species wants to hire us as bodyguards. Laughed. Bodyguards, us. Looked up from his console. Makes sense. We took down 12 soldiers. That's impressive by any standard. Entered with food trays. I think we're famous now, or maybe infamous. I'm not sure which. Does it matter? Asked. Probably not, admitted. They sat together, eating and talking about ordinary things. The engines, the course, the next delivery, simple things, comfortable things. Patches sat on the armrest, watching over them like always. Somewhere in the galaxy, the Empire was updating its files. The human species was no longer classified as weak. They were classified as complex, dangerous when provoked, gentle when possible, unpredictable, emotional, fierce. The files included a new warning. If a human says, grab my bear or hold my beer, exercise extreme caution. The human is about to engage in high-risk behavior with potentially successful outcomes. Do not interfere. Do not provoke. Do not underestimate. Other species added their own warnings. Do not mock human comfort items. Do not take human memories. Do not assume softness equals weakness. In classrooms across Earth, children hugged their teddy bears and stuffed animals. They didn't know that in the stars above, their soft toys had become symbols, symbols of something important. They represented love, memory, home, everything worth fighting for. And the galaxy was learning that humans would always fight for those things. Always. On this Pride looked at Patches and smiled. You've become quite famous, old friend. Who knew you'd end up teaching aliens about humanity? Patches didn't answer. Bears don't talk. But if the bear could have spoken, it might have said something like this. I'm not teaching them about humanity. I'm teaching them about love, about memory, about why soft things matter to hard people, about why comfort is not weakness but strength, about why a father carries his daughter's gift across the stars, about why humans are both gentle and dangerous, about why you should never ever take someone's bear. The ship sailed on through the endless dark, 4 humans, 1 bear, and a galaxy that would never underestimate them again. Because they had learned the most important lesson, humans keep their soft things close and their hearts closer. Touch what they love, and you'll face the full force of what love can do. And love, as it turns out, can do anything.